The difference is with the Ingramite is that the Ingramite is the only boy in the school who won't be lying. What I love most about our time in the Ingrams is the memories that we made together. And it was once said that memories are made of thousands of moments, questions and ideas all strung together. And I thought it was best to express these questions which have been bothering me, in the form of charts. Bar charts, pie charts and line graphs. So, starting from the beginning, what does Simon do with his time? Well, as most of you know, Simon doesn't have very many lessons. What is he doing with his time? From the chart we can see that 80% of the time Simon is found in the gym, 10% of the time he's sleeping, 9% of the time he's watching Jersey Shore, and that valuable 1% of the time he is actually in lessons. Question number 2. If you were to go into Henry's room at any time, who would likely to be there? And this question is sponsored by William Hill, so it is in the form of odds. 1.25 to 1, we've got Jack and 2 to 1, you've got Henry himself. 2 to 1, you'll find Welty in there. 2 to 1, you'll find Teresa. All at the same time. 3 to 1 you'll find Max and or Will. 80 to 1 you'll find Gunnar. 125 to 1 you'll find Ross, Mr. Wright's dog. 140 to 1 you'll find Alfred, and 150 to 1 you'll find Mr. Wright. I want to apologise because this presentation is aimed at a lot of the boys. Some of the terminology may not be understood by the parents. For example, feeding the yak and bricking phone box. When does Will Nolan feed the yak? You'll in fact see that it is every Thursday. One yak feeding every Thursday. Everyone knows Dan. And by the ladies, I mean the prop shop ladies. How much groundwork has Dan actually put into seducing the ladies? Well, you'll actually see that this is a growing curve. I've estimated this summer value because it hasn't actually occurred yet. Well, we will see around 100 hours per week. All I can say is that I hope it's paying off for him. What events occur when Jack tells a funny story? Well, from this graph we can tell that, for example, if we take this one here, 60 seconds are spent telling the story. 40 seconds silence after the story. We have the valuable 10 seconds of people pity laughing. Inspiring him so much that he tells next week's story. Is there a correlation between the amount of time Sam spends with Rosie and the amount of time he spends in the Garden of Gethsemane? If we plotted these two on a graph, they'd actually look a lot like this. This is the amount of time Sam spends with Rosie. This is the amount of time spent in the garden. When one dips, the other dips. Strong positive correlation. What would Lid do for his camera? You'd in fact see that Lid would do anything. What's the difference between Mr. Wright's and Mr. Cowper's dicks? You'll in fact see that a Cowper dicks is about 5 minutes long, and a Wright dicks is about 20 minutes long. But then the next question comes, what do Mr. Wright's dicks actually comprise of? Well, the anatomy of dicks, you'll actually see that 7 minutes are told spent telling us how many notices there are and telling us to settle in, as we've had today. 5 minutes of this dick spent reading things we've probably already been emailed. This value which is missing spent conveying useful news. 5 minutes talking about how community Finally, 3 minutes spent up doing stand-up comedy. Other questions that, with graphs that didn't make the cut. How much time do Chris, Adam and Liv spend in the shed fixing their bathroom? How much of what Max says is highly exaggerated? How much is recycled from someone else? And how much is just completely made up? I'm sorry. And how often is Henry physically abused by him?
3 times.
Okay, and so I wanted to finish this quickly with a poem, because Jack said I couldn't, so I thought that I'd show it. It's about all these days that we've shared in this house, from Will's blasting music to times when it's been quiet as a mouse. Despite its cold showers, which aren't more than a dribble, to the ants on the floor, on our food they would nibble. Situated right opposite the house of the head, we'll call this place home till the day that we're dead. I've decided, though, that it'd be best to start right from the beginning. In the third form 6-a-side, it was us who were winning. 5 scholars we contained, of academic, music and sporting too, but all members of the year were irreplaceable, and we stuck like glue. It was quite long ago, and I'm not sure if you remember, but Nathan had never seen snow since it came in that December. Domination is the word that describes that year. We were the best, and that was clear. But there was always that one thing we could never do, because Mr. Wilson knows that for novice fours there'd never be a queue. We'd never seen Ingram down on the river. Even the thought of Rome just makes me shiver. So finishing third form, we won the house quiz, house tennis, house fives, and almost debating as well. And then Angel left us, but on that I shall not dwell. The next years were a blur as we raced through GCSEs, some of us getting A's and some getting E's. But still as confident, we continued winning, A-leagues, B-leagues and house swimming. I realised I focused much on sport, and we had outside interests too, I'm glad to report. There are times in the summer with the freezing paddling pool, which was infected with an illness which Ingram spread around the school. Most of our plays were quite entertaining, with Henry cross-dressing and Chris in his boxers, not complaining. And most of the credit goes to Dimitri and Jack Flowers, who do all the research, spending literally hours trawling through stuff, just for the play, even though we were performing it the very next day. From The Miser to Maps to Happiest Days, Ingram's put on some incredible plays. Alors, merci Dimitri pour avoir resté avec nous quand il faisait du soleil et rien de plus. Personne n'est aussi drôle et vous m'avez démontré que la vie est en contrôle. Then came the big change in regime, to a housemaster more lenient, or so it would seem. A housemaster who some of us knew from Spanish, and so Stuart Cowper we had to banish. No more howdy howdy, or Mr. Cowper's little annoying son, who are now greeted with a hello everybody to a room full of one. There are some things though with which one does not mess, like the attempted banning of juices, just didn't impress. The complaints of loud music getting the flat roof banned, leading Adam and Chris not very tanned. But at the end of the day, we know Ingram's changed for the better, except showers so cold you need to put on a sweater. When it came to sixth form, we gained some new members, and to the table tennis championship some potential contenders. Like a brick in a phone box or a beer in a fridge, to these new Ingramites, a friendship we bridge. Forget UCAS, forget unis, and forget all the work. Our friendship in Ingram's is the school's main perk. People laugh, people tease, people misjudge and misunderstand, yet all this in Ingram's, and together we stand. We've walked together down this road in search of something true. We've laughed, we've cried, and we grew. Walking into the darkness, as if we're blind, because we've spent 5 years together, and now it's time to leave it behind. Now our journey's come to an end, and it is time for something new. But this isn't really the end for me, nor for all of you. So thank you, and goodbye, until we meet again, I say. I know so much will change, but looking back, I wouldn't change a day.